Oh, hello. How is everybody doing on this Friday night? It's a little rainy here, so it kind of squashed my original plans. So I have the setup here behind me, and we'll go through some questions. Can everybody hear me okay? Just want to make sure that that's working okay. I see a few of you watching. Well, everything looks all right on my side. All right, thank you, Tom. All right, to get started, I guess I'll go through what was in the community posts. If you want, go ahead and start asking any questions you have about the ASI Air. If you're having any problems, I had a fun one earlier I'll tell you about in a little bit. But the first one is, we'll go with what Pete Carpenter asked, and he asked, why the choice of side rail rate and which would you choose? When the guiding is calibrating, I often get a drop-down message that is timed out waiting for guiding to settle. Any idea on this? So for the waiting for guiding to settle, that is more than likely after a dither. Depending on your seeing or any atmospheric conditions, your guide camera might not be fully locking back onto the stars. And at this point, I think pretty much everybody uses multi-star guiding. So it might be just having a few issues just getting settled back in, but once it figures out it's good, then it'll continue. For the side rail rate, and I'm guessing, Pete, you meant this about guiding, I pretty much leave it at the default values. It just works for me. So there's that question. Let's see. I haven't seen any new ones pop up in the chat, so I got a couple more that are in the community post. So go ahead and start spitting them out. Earlier yesterday, Kenneth Clock asked, hold on. Polemon, are you not able to hear my microphone? Or are you hearing a buzzing? What is it that you're hearing? Yes, Adam, we're talking ASI Air issues. Interesting. You might be hearing my my PC. My PC is sitting literally right here. So let me try scooting it away a little bit. Nothing I can really do with the way it's sitting. Can you actually hear me, Paulman? And what about you, Adam? Am I coming through clear for you? This is weird. Let me do something real quick. Okay. All right, that's good. Okay, good. All right, so Ken, I see you're in here. I was just about to get to your question here, so I'm just reading through it now. About your ASIAIR not booting up properly, and it beeps until both USB 3 ports are empty. Oof. So you put a whole bunch there, Ken, and it sounds like it's bugging out on you. So my thought there would be to flash the system itself. Do you have the Pro or the Plus? Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. You said you have the Plus. Yeah, Zero does have a way for you to basically wipe it and reinstall. I would do that. Just wipe and start from scratch, and maybe even go so far as to uninstall the app from your device and reinstall it there as well. That's what I would guess to do there. If that's not working, maybe contact Zero and just mention that there's something wrong with the USB ports. Maybe they'll work with you on either swapping them out or getting you a replacement or something along those lines. Because that might be a hardware side issue too. Okay. Robert just asked about easy way to connect the ASI AIR to your house Wi-Fi. Tried and no luck. Okay. Yes, there is. So let me switch views for a second. So this is a live view of my ASI AIR app right now. It is, like you saw behind me, it's on, plugged in. And I don't know if you can hear it, but I can slew. So the problem there that I had was in the Wi-Fi settings and the station mode. For some reason, my app on my tablet couldn't see it, but using the BlueStacks software on my PC could. And I've been trying to find different ways to get it working properly. And the problem there is when I look at it and it's in station mode, let me actually switch back to this. When you're in station mode and you click on this, you can see your IP address. Now, this is one that for tonight I statically set on my ASI AIR. If I look at my Wi-Fi router, I can actually see it connected to the Wi-Fi, but my app on my tablet can't see it. However, the PC can, which is kind of odd. And I've been diving in for the past couple weeks, just trying to figure out where the disconnect is. Still not much luck yet. I'm learning a couple new Wi-Fi tracing tools just to try to help pinpoint some of those problems. And then when I figure it out, I'll put out a video about it. Yeah, all you have to do, Robert, is just turn it on, and it'll search for a Wi-Fi connection that you need to connect to, and then you just put in your respective home Wi-Fi's information. And theoretically, it should work perfectly. However, some things that might get in the way are things like the wall between your router and where the ASIR is located, or any interference nearby. My backyard, there are tons of electric cables, and I'm surrounded by neighbors, and I can see all of their Wi-Fi as well. So any interference might be a problem. Robert, have you tried and can you see your home Wi-Fi when you put it in station mode? And while I wait for Robert to reply there, one bummer here. Let me switch this view. One bummer that I really wish I could do. There was an app that I was playing around with that I could pop up the questions, but on Tuesday the developer said I'm no longer doing this, which is kind of crummy, but okay. Let's go with Tribble1027 asks about what do you recommend for settings to get the guide RMS? Let me switch to that view actually. The guide RMS to under 1 total. The RA tracking is more erratic than my deck. Also, my guiding is best when the mount is tracking objects in the north versus south. My first question to you is where are you located? It seems that it's always closest to the poles where it does have some problems. So whether you're in the northern hemisphere, north poles, kind of in that region, so Bode's Galaxy, areas around like the Heart and Soul Nebula might have some problems, things of that nature. Same for the south and doing anything closer to the South Pole than the Carina Nebula. So some things that'll definitely help: make sure you're completely balanced on your mount. So even if you don't trust the bubble on the mount, make sure you're leveled, and make sure your weight is also good. Okay, so Columbus, Ohio, I'm guessing. So same latitude as me. Make sure that your weights are leveled, and maybe you're a little bit, depending on what you're shooting, east or west heavy. And let's see. Course guide scope's got to be completely focused. If you can store it focused so you don't have to mess with it, that's an awesome thing to do. Let's see. I recalibrate every time because sometimes I shoot in the backyard, sometimes I go to local observatories, so I recalibrate my guiding every single time. Let's see what else. If it's a bad seeing night, maybe mess with the aggressiveness a little bit on your RA. Yeah, if the seeing is kind of crap that night, then play with your aggressiveness a little bit and give yourself a couple test shots. You don't have to always, get your program set up, make sure, and then once guiding says, hey, we're good, then just shoot right away. You can take a couple of test shots where you play with the guiding just a little bit and make it even better. But one thing I've noticed is that every time when the ASI AIR gets started, it usually takes a shot or two for it to completely settle down. Well, let's see. It should... I don't know how well this is going to work. It's raining where I'm at, but it might... I'm going to try, see what it does. No, it doesn't have any calibration data. Usually I leave it at the default. I might be able to... Hold on. Let me switch back to this. This is going to take a little bit of poking around. I do have a video. One that I haven't completely finished. Oh, wait. No, I know which one I can go with. Where are you? That one. No, not that one. So the DSLR video that I did for Orion back in January, I know that that ran for like 3 hours when I was screen recording, so I know I got some guiding in there somewhere. Ah, there we go. Ooh. Almost have it. Okay. Main monitor. There we go. So this is a screenshot from the guiding in that Orion video. the one where it was DSLR setup. So I had it at 70% and 100%. And duck mode was auto. So that's pretty, I never really changed that. So that's what it was. Let's see. Yeah, you can't see that. All right. Okay, and Augie, yeah, I see that. So, since you can still see what's here, it was under 1 for this, and I have the HEQ5 Pro. It's sitting right here behind me. So, the one good thing about that specific night, though, is if you watch the video, it was really cold that night. So the seeing was excellent that night. So, yeah, that helped a lot. Let me just catch up on chat here for a second. Okay, yeah, so... Pete, thanks for stepping in. I was just getting to Joe's question there about the quality of the photos. Well, my first question there, too, is what camera are you using? Because if it is saving to a DSLR, it shouldn't be taking any crappy pictures at all. It will only work in RAW only. Now, if you're using something like a Ziwo camera back here, Pete already kind of covered that, where it does one in FITS and the other in JPEG. And the JPEG is really just a thumbnail. It's nothing good. For the FITS, you have to just pull them into a stacking software to get those. Or you can, if you really want to play around with it, if you have PixInsight, you can pull those in and blink through them to look at them, or you can start fully processing. Or if you just want to look at one frame, you can get a program called FITS Liberator. And it won't be high quality looking at that picture, but if you're, say, taking a picture of Andromeda, you'll be able to see Andromeda in a single frame in FITS Liberator. Yeah, Chris, I agree. There are still some things, and there's still, like how we were talking about Wi-Fi here a little bit ago, still little things here and there that, Ziwo says it's easy, but, few things that they need to catch up on. And I agree, Rob, on why they do the JPEG. It's kind of pointless. If they did maybe a slightly higher quality JPEG that was useful for something like electronically assisted astronomy, just EAA, where it's supposed to be high gain, short exposures, stuff like that, that would be pretty sweet. Oh, Chris, there was some problems with the Wi-Fi. It was Robert who wasn't able to connect at all, and then I had some problems earlier where I tried to stream from my tablet, show the ASIAIR, because it is running behind me. That didn't work, but I'm able to see it on my PC using BlueStacks. It's working fine, and I can't figure out why that is. So it's one of the things I'm playing around with some Wi-Fi monitoring software just to figure out what's up with that. Yeah, that's right. The JPEG is used for the preview. So as every frame shoots, that's what creates your preview. Otherwise, loading a 25 megabyte TIFF or fits every single time, it would take a while. Yeah, see, that's what I can't figure out, Chris, and I'm working on it. I have ways that I don't have a laptop, so I have ways that I can see the Wi-Fi from my PC, and yeah, for some reason the tablet won't see it, but the PC will. And the funny thing is I have two tablets. I have this old iPad that still works, like can still run the ASIAIR app on it, and both of them, yeah, it just won't see it. But the other option is to also use something like this. For extending the range, I found it better not to just plug this in and having it sit halfway, but actually plug it straight into the ASIAIR and repeat that way, and it's connected back just fine. But the ASIAIR right now is sitting maybe 15 feet from my router, so it's connected just fine. But the other side of that, Chris, that I'm wondering is it may be just a limitation of the Raspberry Pi ecosystem and how it handles Wi-Fi entirely. No, Ken, that is not the one that Zewo sells. That's the TP-Link one. It's like 20 or 30 bucks on Amazon. And it works fantastic for other things too. Just using it as a repeater for other things. In fact, when I was running my tests, I had this plugged into my PC, and then I was sending commands to the ASIAIR when it was sitting here on the Wi-Fi, running BlueStacks on my PC. So my network tracking software could see when I was sending commands, but I was trying to find out where it was dropping connection. Now, Chris, yes, the Plus is more stable. You're going to get a lot more range out of it. Uh, I just have the default antenna on here now, but I also have one that's about this long. And I really need to go record doing the tests again. But at the observatory I usually go to, I couldn't walk that far away. And with the Pro, pretty much, if you look at my videos from around this time last year, the reason that the mount is so close to my car was so it was just close enough I could sit in the car and stay warm and stay connected. But now with this antenna, I can walk with the default one probably a good 50 feet away in that field, and it's probably 3 to 4 times that with the bigger antenna. And if I'm not on the Wi-Fi, I'm just using the tablet straight connected to the ASIAIR, I can have it in my backyard and sit here at my desk and see everything with no problem. So yeah, Chris, you'll get a better experience. And let's see what else. There is one more actual question in the community tab, and that's another one Pete Carpenter asked. It said, I should be able to control my mount manually from the arrows on the go-to page that slides out and shows the target. None of the directional arrows move my EQ6R Pro. Now, I would say for that, don't be fooled. What you might have is your slew rate set down to 1, and if you hit this, it's going to seem like it's not going to move at all. Now, if you're trying to manually slew, make sure you set up the slew rate just a bit, and you set it up high enough. you'll hear it when it moves, but then it'll take you way off target. But if you're making minimal adjustments, keep the slew rate low, or even go so far as do a test shot, and if you want to recenter, just do the tap, and then a little green circle will pop up that says go here, tap there, and that'll center on that spot. That's probably what would be a better move to do. Chris, yeah, I would say keep the power cable anyway. If you can have a constant source of power, definitely go that route. I mean, if you need to use a battery, do it, but, you know, if you have the option, I would say go full power all the way. David Hess asked about, I don't know if anyone has asked, but I don't understand how to find RA aggression, deck aggression, and how do you find out where to set it. So I'm going to go back to the video I had, and I'm just going to scoot it over a little bit so you can see better. Let's do this way. Okay, so in here, this is your guide screen. So in your guide screen, down here in the bottom right, this is where you change your RA aggression and your deck aggression. And these are the values I use. They work for me just fine, but somebody else in the chat already said that they use something a little bit lower than mine. So you might need to play around with it, but this works fine for me. And the way to find that, let me just bring up BlueStacks, is you just go into your guiding settings, and once you're actually guiding, you'll see those. But since I'm inside and not actually guiding, those aren't showing up. Chris, no, I do not mess with the white balance at all. I haven't found a reason to. I mean, it's all gonna get changed once you get in there and start processing anyway, so yeah, I just never mess with it. Pete, yeah, good point there about when you're in station mode, make sure you switch back to your home's Wi-Fi. And yeah, see, that's the funny thing. Let me pull this up. Yeah, so on my tablet sitting here. Woohoo! Didn't mean to change that, but yeah, I'm in the ASIAIR app and it's saying, yeah, I can't find it, but they're on the same Wi-Fi. The other thing to do also is you have to use the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, not the 5G, and you have to make sure that your tablet is also on that. And still, they're both on the same non-5G. I make sure that they're split on my home network. Still not seeing it on the tablet. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Enhanced plate solving, not yet. Robert, thank you for coming, man. Definitely thanks for swinging by. Experimental features like that, not yet. I didn't download the beta yet either, and I've seen a few wonky things with Androids, and that's what I'm using, so I'm gonna hold off on for a minute on that. But for things like All Sky Plate Solve, I want to try that. My backyard can see Polaris just fine, so I have to create something that blocks it intentionally just to play around with it. experimental features. There we go. Yeah, I have all sky polar line turned on. Yeah, if I switch back to this, I have it turned on, and the neat thing about doing this from two different devices, like my PC and the app, the ASI AIR will save the settings between the two, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's turned on. I haven't played with the new plate solving yet, though. But the all sky polar line, when you do that, one thing you're going to notice is when the mount does its slew, it'll start in the home position, then go a little bit and a little bit more. It does it like 3 times now with the all sky plate solve. Yes, Chris asks about the app randomly changing the main scope's focal length. That happens all the time. I set mine to 360, and by the time it's ready to run, it says 367. So, and that might just be because of the difference when you focus. Then maybe there's just some auto detect algorithm when it's looking at the field of view and it's going, oh wait, it's actually this. So that's what I'm guessing there. It's actually a good idea just to take it to home. Adam Boothby mentions make sure you return the mount to home before slewing to the target. Kind of a good idea to do that every time. So after your polar line and then focus, I usually, if the seeing is kind of bad, I'll do polar line, focus, polar line again. Then I'll end up taking it to whatever I'm doing that night, and it usually is good after that. Let's see. Oh, so you've got the EAF. Nice. I still don't have that yet. Every time I try to look for one, they're out of stock. Okay. Oh, so Augie mentions, so I'm catching back up on a few things in chat here. And Ken, I'll get to your question here in a second. The ASI AIR Plus was that the DSLR would only work on the one USB 2 port, but didn't... Or you just got here, right, Augie? Because if it's the USB 2 ports, the thing I was thinking earlier, somebody else asked the same question. I'm not sure if it was you, but the thing there is it might be a hardware side issue, and on that case, you might need to get a hold of Zero. But Ken asked, don't you need to focus before anything else? So, one thing that I tend to do, so for the Xenostar 61, one with the flattener in, once you actually focus the first time ever and you know you're in focus, look at the little hash marks here and just kind of take note on where it's at. That way, anytime you set up beyond after that, you just set it to right next to that hash mark. From there, it's usually focused enough that you can polar align and then fine-tune your focus afterwards. Tom Hoskins asks, when running the ASIAIR on a home network, do you download your files directly to your PC? You can. So, just for fun, I'm just going to tell this to expose. And then switch it to here. So I know that my home PC is on a certain IP address. So you can do it this way, where you put in your IP address. And see, now you're in the back door of the whole thing. If the thumb drive was plugged in, you would see that too, but because I don't have the thumb drive plugged in, it would be under eMMC. And then I believe I have this set up in preview. Hold on, let me do this. Auto run, I'm just gonna tell it to, we'll just do that. And these should start showing up under auto run dark. Yep. So that is how you can see them from your home network, if you want to play around with them as you're getting your images. So to show you guys how to do that again, if you know the IP address, which you can find in your Wi-Fi settings under Wi-Fi, station mode, and then the little green eye, just look for that IP address, and then in your file explorer, just / that IP address, and then another /, and then you're in the back door to the ASI AIR, and then you can play around with your images while waiting for it to do its whole program. So it's kind of a nice thing to be able to play around with them. Yeah, I'll let those finish. Why not? Just dark frames. Okay, let me catch up on chat here for a few. Yeah, I'm with Pete there on using the USB 3 stick. It's just easier, especially like going out to the observatory and then having to pack everything back up, come home, and then I just get it in the house, but the thumb drive is in my pocket. So I usually just come up here, plug everything in, and start going, let's see what the stack looks like, and playing around with it. Oh, Chris, you're also in Portal 9. Yeah, I'm right in pretty much downtown Pittsburgh. So my light pollution really sucks. And I would, one of these days, kind of, when there's a Steelers game, would like to try testing a shot if it's ever clear. But the problem with that is that the blimp that flies around the stadium goes right over my house. So I think I'd lose a few frames. Yeah, Adam, I think, yeah, it was you that had the problem, right? Remember who it is that had each problem. That's weird, Tom, that Windows 7 can see it, but 10 can't. Can you at least ping it from Windows 10? Oh, Augie, yeah, I've heard of Hawking Hills. One of my local club members is talking that place up big time. He's saying, yeah, definitely go check that place out if it's Not clear at Cherry Springs here in Pennsylvania, but clear down there. So Chris, you said something about the focus wheel or the filter wheel smart enough to auto center filters. For example, if it gets jostled a bit and knocks it off center a bit, that I am not sure. uh, Sounds to me. Well, what filters are you using? Because are they, when you thread them in, are they sitting there just fine? It would seem to me like there's a little bit of a gap there that's kind of allowing them to move around. Yeah, that's a good tip there, Pete, about disabling the firewall on the firmware page. I'm going to play around with that. Yeah, I'm going to play around with the firewall on my home router. Still puzzling me that the PC can see it, but the tablet can't, so... Oh, hey Pat. Spent a lot of time in Erie growing up, 'cause I'm from a little south of there. Well, yeah, it might cause a little bit of a gradient. And be noticeable anyway. So, yeah, maybe it's something in the Windows 7 or the Windows 11 firewall that, like Pat mentioned or Pete mentioned. Because I played around with Windows 11 at work, and I don't really like it. Which is kind of a bummer because I want to get a device with Windows 11 on it for when the ASIAIR app ends up in the Amazon store. Because of Android apps being available on Windows 11. Really want to play with that. Because right now, I mean, as some of you have already seen, I'm using BlueStacks to emulate Android, and then I can see the ASIAIR from there. The other thing I want to see, Pete, is if there's any ports that the ASIAIR requires. I haven't found that information out yet, because maybe in your router's configuration you'd have to just forward those ports, and then should be able to see it entirely. But those are usually for outgoing connections. You're not really leaving your home network with a different port. Okay. Well, don't see any more questions, but if you guys got any general ones, I guess, go right ahead. Still got about 15 minutes, and then I'll have to get going. and not looking forward to the fact that it's rainy tonight and tomorrow night. No, I don't. Chris asked about powering dew heaters off the ASI AIR. I still use USB dew straps. Under normal circumstances, I'd have an extension cord that's here, and that's running to wherever my power is coming from. But the extension cord's wrapped around here, and then I have a power brick plugged into the dew straps. You know, little USB power brick. So, yeah, that's normally what I do. Whenever I switch to the other controllable style dew heaters, I'm probably going to get a Pegasus power box. Yeah, because I'm kind of with you there. The ASIAIR is only capable of 6 amps, so even one dew heater can possibly get you close enough. If it's a particularly wet night and the thing's kind of going, oh crap, you know, the dew heater's controls anyway. So I would rather just keep those two separate systems, or two systems separate. Jeez, starting to lose my ability to talk on a stream. Woo! I have one other comment from the community posts. Garnet Leary said, I don't have technical questions, but would like to know your opinion of using the ASIAIR for solar system imaging. No major opinion yet. This is my setup. It is not great for planets, so I would like to think it's pretty awesome for it. It does, with video mode, have the ability to do the videos required for solar system imaging. So if I could borrow Mike M, who's been in the chat before, he has an Edge HD. If I could borrow that for a night and take a look at Jupiter with this, then of course I would. Tribble asks, my general question is, do you think it's best to take hundreds of subs at 17 or 30 seconds or less subs at 2 or 3 minute subs? And he realizes it does depend on the target. So yeah, that is one thing. Oh, what was his name? So it was Astrophotography's video, but there was this guy who did this really good analysis of calculating your exposures, and it uses things like your sky conditions. So being under light polluted skies has a big issue with it, because you could eventually drown out your stars, and that's what causes the bloat. So there's my original setup video for the ASI AIR Plus. I was doing 5 minute subs from downtown Pittsburgh, and that caused my stars to just be awful. And since then, I've never gone beyond 2 minutes from my backyard. Really, the main thing that does matter is your total integration time. So if you're doing 30-second subs, that's fine. Or you're doing 3 minute subs, that's fine. However, the total amount of time that you get, so if you're getting 2 hours worth or 5 hours worth, that's what you want to shoot for. The better way to think of it is, if you're in somewhere more light polluted, go with shorter subs just because of the sky conditions. And then once you go out to a dark sky location, then go for the 3 minutes and 4 minute, 5 minute subs. That way you keep your stars under control. Hey, Chris. Yeah, thanks, man. Bill, I wouldn't say that USB dew heaters are a total mistake, because they can still be useful for other applications as well, not just this. You know, you put a wide field lens on a DSLR and do some time-lapse stuff. You're still going to need a heater for that, and a USB one's perfect for it. So definitely keep it around. You can use it for other things. Yeah, Chuck does a lot of 15-second subs, and I've at least flown over Detroit, and it's bad. Not as bad as Chicago, but the light pollution's bad. Yeah, the moon, for solar system images, since Poolside mentioned it, I haven't done the moon since they added in the auto sharpening. I need to do that again. So really, I should just pop out there sometime when it's clear in the next few days and just do some moon video and see how that auto sharpening works, because I haven't played with that yet either. What else you guys got for me? For that video, it was I want to say it was Robin Glover was the person. Hold on, let me just look it up. Yeah, so it was on our Astrophotography's channel, Deep Sky Astrophotography with CMOS cameras by Dr. Robin Glover. Check that video out. Treble. That one will help you kind of understand the overexposure of stars and stuff like that. And it's about an hour long video, so yeah, it's definitely worth a watch though. I'm kind of jealous of you there, Poolside. It's raining here, which is why the setup is behind me and not outside, where we could play with it. I in trouble for your question there about mono versus OSC. This is an OSC camera. It's the only one I have, so works just fine. There is something to be said about the crispness coming from mono cameras. They all seem very, very crisp. I love looking at mono pictures. But OSC is great for anybody just starting out, or they just don't have a lot of time to do, you know, a set of reds, a set of greens, a set of blues, a set of luminance. They just want to go, I want 5 hours, just get the 5 hours done, and that's it. So they both have their strengths and weaknesses, but I'm okay with one shot right now. It's fine. Oh, nice. Flaming Star is a good one. Got a little bit of that last year. Haven't really got much of it this year. Okay, yeah, that's a good tip. And my guess there, Pete, for your comment on if you do video of moon, start at 30 seconds and then try the auto stacking. My guess is that the processing power of the Air and the app is just not that great to make it be very quick. Bill asks if the Red Cat 51 will work with the moon. Yeah, so you have the 2600 MC on order. Do you have a DSLR right now that you can work with? Because if you do, then you can put the DSLR into video mode instead of single pictures, and in video mode, you can use digital zoom to get it a little bit tighter in. You can't do that in picture mode though. You'd have to look at your camera manufacturer. Let me backtrack on that, because the DSLR that you're watching me through, it's video mode only that you can use digital zoom on. And if you look at that, my moon processing video from last year, that's pretty much how I did that, but with this setup, just with the DSLR instead of the Zibo cam. So that Red Cat is only a little bit smaller in focal length than this Zenithstar 61, so you should be fairly close anyway. Oh, hey, Ollie, how you doing, man? Popping in from Australia. If you guys haven't checked out Ollie, definitely I'm giving him a shout out. He's got some fun stuff on his channel. I rate it well. It works out just fine. The new one with the where it does 3 is kind of goofy, but yeah, I rate it well. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't lose you guys here, because I haven't seen anything new since Ollie said something. All right. So the AM5 mount, don't have one, but I want to check one out. It looks interesting, but the thing that kind of gets me right now about the AM5 is that with a system like this, you have the counterweights, which help out with the gears, and if it's belt fed, those as well. And over time, they still work just fine. I wonder how the AM5 is going to handle with the test of time. How's it going to be running after 5 years? You know, of, let's say, once or twice a month usage. Is it still going to be fine? Or is it going to need some kind of maintenance to keep it accurate? So those are the questions I have about the AM5 mount. And time will tell with that. Augie, for the how often do you stream? This is my 3rd one, and I'm trying to do a monthly. Trying to keep it around sometime around full moon, because usually that's when a lot of us aren't out anyway, or if we are imaging, it is purely narrowband, so it's purely filtered. And luckily in my case, it's raining tonight, so it's not like I'm wasting a night. But yeah, at least once a month, sometime around the full moon. Except next month, I kind of want to do something the last week of April, because of it being Dark Sky Week. Which, if you haven't heard already, or you're not involved with the IDA with Dark Sky Week, it's the last week of April. Definitely hop onto their Facebook and just share everything they're saying about it. Hop onto their Twitter, share everything they're saying about it. You know, just to try to get your friends and family understanding, you know, what's going on with light pollution. So I am an IDA advocate. I run the local chapter here, so all about educating about light pollution. Well, Ollie, I feel your pain there with the clouds, but then again, full moon just happened, so it's not like we got the best night to do anything anyway. But I got a couple minutes left here, and then I gotta run. I got family coming over, and I need to go clean, so. So if you have any more questions, pop them in. Otherwise, we'll end it for the night. Yeah, Starlink is a whole nother thing, and luckily, I've talked to people who are on the boards that are working with Starlink to try to reduce what they're doing, and it's all very positive so far. They're trying, every time they've launched, they're trying something different with the materials used, casing the satellites themselves, and trying to reduce the reflectivity of them from what we can see from our cameras. So it's very positive. They are willing to do what they can to reduce their footprint, but the unfortunate side effect is that they can't entirely eliminate it. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you're doing your stacking, Sigma clipping will get rid of it. And that's one thing I did show in the previous stream. Uh, if you're doing EAA with the ASI AIR, whatever stacking algorithm that the Air uses, it does not get rid of satellites. So if you're just doing EAA and you're out there to just show people galaxies and hop around and whatnot, you are going to get some trailing. But if you want to save your images and save every single frame and restack them in a different processing software, you can get rid of the trails and actually come up with a pretty decent picture. But yeah, there's hope there, Tribble. So, all right, guys, that has been about the hour. I still have a couple videos left that I need to film for this month, and I'm still getting some stuff done around the house. But going back into April, I'll go back to every week with videos, and we'll keep this monthly thing up with the live streams. So watch for the community tab for me to ask you guys for what you want the topic next month to be. It seemed to work out pretty well that we get everybody on board with the same topic. It keeps things flowing a lot better than it did last time. So, Pat, thank you for swinging in. Pete, good to see you in here again. Ollie, thanks for swinging by. Augie, Tribble, all you guys, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys' skies are clearer than mine are going to be this weekend. Hopefully even tomorrow you get a good clear sky. And have a good night.